Welcome back to my channel. Now in my last video, I talked how traditional pension providers do not have your best interests at heart. And we spoke through all the pros and cons of investing with pension providers and offered alternatives. Now, in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how you can move your old and current workplace pensions into a SIPP. Now, I thought this was a super complicated process when I first started investing, but it isn't as complicated as you think. And within just 6 weeks, I was able to transfer my funds from my old workplace pensions into a SIPP and finally have control of my money and how it's invested. By the end of this video, you'll understand what a SIPP is and why it can be so powerful in generating wealth for you in retirement, how to transfer your old workplace pension into a SIPP using Hargreaves Lansdown as an example, the big tax benefits you can get from investing into a SIPP, particularly if you're a PAYE employee or a limited company owner, and finally, the kind of returns that you can get from investing in a SIPP. Spoiler alert, I was able to achieve a 58% growth in my own portfolio once I started investing in a SIPP. And this video isn't just for experts, it's for everyone. So whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or expert in the financial space, this video is for you. So let's dive into how you can beat the pension funds at their own game by investing into a SIPP and prepare yourself for a comfy retirement. Before we can look at how to transfer your money from your old or current workplace pensions into a SIPP, we first have to understand what a SIPP actually is. So SIPP stands for Self-Invested Personal Pension. And all that means in layman terms is you taking your money out of your current or workplace pensions and moving that money into another platform, which is a SIPP, and using that money to invest in what you want to. So a SIPP gives you more control and it allows you to invest your money where you want it to go. That could be ETFs, index funds, or even individual stocks, which is what I invest in inside my SIPP. Just like a stocks and shares ISA, a SIPP has a tax advantage wrapper around it, meaning that you can invest in the most tax efficient way outside of a stocks and shares ISA. So it's important that you understand the benefits of investing in a SIPP and how it can actually save you money on tax that you would have paid through salary or your business profits. Here are some key facts that you need to understand about a SIPP. Number one is you are in full control. So you choose exactly what you want to invest in and how much you want to invest. Number two is you can set it up for yourself. So you can do this in your own time and you can manage it yourself. You don't have to rely on pension fund managers or your employer's pension provider to handle things on your behalf. Number three is you can contribute as much money as you wish. So you can put £60,000 every single financial year into your SIPP or self-invested personal pension. And number four is a SIPP gives you the potential for retirement freedom. So you can actually claim your private pension or your SIPP at age 57, and you can take out 25% completely tax-free, so you won't pay a penny of tax on the 25% that you take out, and then you can choose to either draw down or take an annuity on the remainder. Put simply, a SIPP is your personal pension playground. It gives you full control, you can choose exactly what you want to invest in, you're in control of the weighting, so if you want to have more money in individual stocks or more money in ETFs, you have complete control to do that inside of a SIPP. It's exactly the same as any other pension out there, but you are in control, not some faceless fund manager. A common question I always get asked is, can you have a SIPP alongside your current workplace pension? And the answer is yes. You can have your SIPP alongside your current workplace pension. And in fact, a lot of people run the two simultaneously. A big benefit of this is the fact that if you have your workplace pension, you're getting employer contributions and your employer is adding to the money that you're adding to your pension pot. Now with a SIPP, you can do a partial transfer out of your current workplace pension into the SIPP. So you're still benefiting from the employer contributions and the free money that you're getting from your employer. And then you're able to move that into a SIPP and get full control and invest in the funds, individual stocks, or ETFs that you want to be in, not the ones that your pension fund manager suggests for you. Before we get into how to transfer your current or old workplace pension into a SIPP, I want to make something absolutely clear. Investing in a workplace pension isn't a bad thing, and it's better than doing absolutely nothing. I've heard so many stories of people that have opted out of their current workplace pension and they've forgone massive employer contributions, and I just want to reiterate this is something that you do not want to do. With workplace pensions, your employer most of the time will match or contribute towards the contribution you're making inside the pension. So essentially, you are getting free money, and it comes out of your gross salary as well. So you're not paying tax on the money that you're putting into a workplace pension. So remember, a workplace pension is better than having no pension. But that being said, I believe there are significant benefits from investing into a SIPP over and above a workplace pension. And we're going to go through them right now. The first one is that SIPPs give you unlimited options. When we're looking at a pension fund through our pension provider, you have to invest in the funds that are available. Now, a lot of these funds don't have great things in them. They're weighted towards various different asset classes like UK bonds, gilts, UK property, and FTSE 100 allocations, FTSE 250 allocations, etc. These are very balanced, but whilst they might have good things in them, they also have a lot of negative stocks or assets in them that are dragging down the index. This is something I personally do not want to do. I want to have full control of what I'm investing in, and that's why I invest in a SIPP. So inside a SIPP, I'm able to choose individual stocks that I have conviction in. For example, within my SIPP, I have invested heavily into individual stocks like Nvidia, Amazon, and Google. Google. I would have got some exposure to these stocks inside of a pension fund. However, I wouldn't be in control of the weighting, so I would have no control over how much percentage of the fund is invested in stocks like Nvidia, for example, or Amazon, or Apple, or Google. And I would have no say as to whether that fund would actually keep that individual stock or whether they would swap it out for something new. Pension fund managers move things around all the time, indexes change, companies go in and out of them, averages change. So you do not have any control when you're investing in a pension fund. However, when I invest my money inside my SIPP, I get to choose exactly what I want to be inside, and I get to control the gains. And that's why I believe I've been so successful with the investments that I've got inside of my SIPP. The second point I want to make is on fees. Now, a lot of traditional pension providers and funds have insane, astronomical fees. And these fees do add up. So whilst you might not see it at the moment, but when you get your annual pension summary every single year, which is a document that your pension provider will send to you in the post, you can see how much in fees that you're paying. Now, SIPPs or self-invested personal pensions do come with a fee as well, but they are nowhere near as high as the pension fund fees that you'll be getting and paying on the pensions that you have with your current or old workplaces. Just to put these fees into perspective, if you're paying a relatively competitive fee, which could be 0.75% on the money that you're investing every single month, if you invest £400 a month over the timeline of your career, you'll be paying £237,000 in fees alone. Yes, £237,000. The third point is all about empowerment and control. So when you're investing through a pension provider and a pension fund, you are literally working on dealing with and being managed by a pension fund manager who literally has thousands, if not hundreds of thousands or millions of clients. They have zero personal connection to you. And to put it quite frankly, they don't care whether your pension performs well or if your pension doesn't perform very well. And this is a massive thing for me. I get a certain level of empowerment knowing that I'm in full control of my pension and I can make changes and I'm going to be invested in my life. No one else is going to care about my life and my financial well-being more than me. And number 4 is all about transparency. So within these pension funds, a lot of these indexes and ETFs, they have sub-funds within them. So it's very, very difficult for you to unravel which of the individual stocks are actually moving the needle for your pension as a whole. Whereas when you're investing in a SIPP, you can clearly see which individual stocks and assets are driving the growth in your portfolio, and you can maximize and change your weightings based on that. That is absolutely key because you want to see what's moving and making you money inside your pension, because you might want to change your weighting towards that particular asset or stock or fund or ETF that's really driving the gains, and doing so can massively accelerate your wealth building process. So now that we know what a SIPP is, the benefits of a SIPP compared to a workplace pension, we're going to go through how to transfer your pension into a SIPP. And I know this is the part that a lot of you have been waiting for, and it's probably why you clicked on this video. So before we get into this, I'm going to be using an example with a broker called Hargreaves Lansdown. Now, in my opinion, they have one of the best SIPP platforms out there, but a lot of people have said that AJ Bell have a decent SIPP platform as well. So go and check that out if you haven't already too. But before we can transfer any old or current workplace pension into a SIPP, we're going to need a few things from our old or current pension provider. There's really 3 things that you need. Number 1 is the value of the pension account. So you need to know how much money you have inside that pension. And to do that, you need to get in touch with the pension provider. If it's an old workplace pension, a lot of you are not going to know who your pension provider is. So you need to get in contact with them. Now, the easiest way to do this is by taking a look at your annual pension summary. This is a document that pension providers will send to you every single year. So you've probably got one hanging around if you haven't thrown it away. Now, if you have thrown it away or you have no idea who your pension provider is, then you want to get in contact with your old workplace's HR. They're going to be able to point you in the right direction and give you information on the pension provider. Once you have that information, you need to give them a ring and then find out all of the important details about your pension. Now, there's 2 other bits of information that we need to gather in order to initiate the transfer. Number 1 is the type of pension that you'll be transferring. So for most people, it's going to be either a group pension or a personal pension. But make sure you get this information from your pension provider so that you're best placed to start the transfer. And number 3 is the ID or reference number for your pension. So every single pension provider has a unique reference number associated with your pension. We're going to need that because our stockbroker, in this instance Hargreaves Lansdown, is going to get in contact with our pension provider, and they will not be able to identify your pension plan if you don't have this number. So make sure you get it. And the easiest place to find it is on your pension's annual summary document. It should be somewhere at the top left or top right of the document. So pause this video and get all that information to hand. So once you've got all that information to hand, it's time to initiate the pension transfer. Now, as I said, for this example, we're going to be going through using Hargreaves Lansdown. So go ahead and head over to their website, which is hl.co.uk. Once we're here, we want to navigate to the pension section and click transfer a pension. I'm going to walk through this with you inside my Hargreaves Lansdown app. Now, I'm already a client of Hargreaves Lansdown, so this is what it's going to look like inside your app when you want to initiate a pension transfer. By the way, if you're not already a Hargreaves Lansdown customer, you will have to create an account with Hargreaves Lansdown first before you initiate this transfer. Don't worry, it's super easy and you can create an account within 10 minutes. So the first thing that you want to do, whether you're inside the app or on the website, is select transfer a pension. And then Hargreaves Lansdown is going to ask you who your current pension provider is. So there's a drop down there and you need to select who your pension provider is. The most common pension providers in the UK are Legal & General, Scottish Widows and Royal London. Make sure you're putting this information in correctly. Now, the next step is going to ask you what the reference number for your pension is. As I mentioned earlier, you're going to be able to find this on your pension annual summary document or by contacting your pension provider and asking them what this number is. This is super important and you need to be very accurate with this information because this is what your stockbroker, Hargreaves Lansdown in this instance, is going to communicate to your pension provider. And you cannot move your funds across until they have this number. This is how they identify you, and this is how they make sure the money is going from the right pension to the right SIPP. In the step after this, Hargreaves Lansdown will ask you what type of pension it is. Now, for all my transfers that I've initiated, I've used personal pension. Now, the two common answers are either group pension or personal pension. If you don't know the type of pension that you have, you can select I don't know the type of pension, but just bear in mind that that is going to delay the transfer of your pension between your pension provider and the SIPP because Hargreaves Lansdown will have to do some investigating with your pension provider to make sure that they have the accurate information to electronically initiate the transfer. So, in my opinion, it's a lot better to find out the exact type of pension that you have with your pension provider before you initiate this transfer. Next, you're going to be asked for the pension or scheme name. Now, I transferred my last pension from Royal London and the name of the pension was Workplace Pension. So this can be found by either phoning up your pension provider or logging onto their online portal and getting the information from there. This is going to be really important as well because it's another way in which your pension provider will identify your particular pension and it enables Hargreaves Lansdown to transfer it smoothly once they have all this information. So make sure it's accurate. Make sure it's correct to prevent any delays. In the next screen, Hargreaves Lansdown is going to ask you if anyone is still contributing to the pension. Now, this is really important and you're probably wondering, why do they care about this? Well, the fact is, if someone is still contributing to your pension, it means they cannot close the old pension. So if you're still getting contributions from your current employer, you need to leave a little bit of money in the account. For example, with Royal London, they require at least £200 in a pension account for it to remain open. The worst thing that you want to do is fully transfer your pension out from your current workplace pension provider and have them close down the account. That will mean that any contributions that you put into that account will not go through and it could be disastrous for you. So if you're transferring a current workplace pension, make sure that you do a partial transfer out and not a full transfer out. That will ensure that you still get the contributions from your employer and you still keep your pension open. The next screen will ask you the value of your pension, and this is really important. So you need to give Hargreaves Lansdown an accurate value of your pension at the time of you requesting the transfer. They need to know this because they need to know how much money you have in the pension and how much cash you're going to be moving over into your SIPP. It's very important. Make sure this is an accurate number. The following step will then ask you one of two questions. They'll ask you whether you want to move those pension funds over as cash or whether you want to move those pension funds over into ready-made investments that Hargreaves Lansdown have available for their SIPP clients. Now, I always move the cash over myself because I want to invest in what I want to invest in. I want to invest in individual stocks. However, I'm willing to do that because I understand the risks involved, and that's what I've been doing for the past 15 years. If you, however, are someone that is a little bit less savvy and you want to invest in ready-made investments or pies that Hargreaves Lansdown have readily available to their clients, then you can pick ready-made investments, and they have a whole list of investments for you to choose from that you can invest in. This is more for beginners or people that aren't that comfortable with investing in individual stocks for themselves. So just to recap, I always pick choose my own investments because I want to choose exactly what I'm invested in. The final step is a review. So make sure that you've answered everything to the best of your knowledge. And if you're happy, hit continue. That is going to initiate the pension transfer process. This should take between 6 and 8 weeks. So what they'll do is they'll sell the positions in your old pension and then move those funds over to your SIPP. And if you selected choose my own investments, you'll have the cash in your account ready for you to buy assets. And if you've selected ready-made investments, Hargreaves Lansdown will then invest in those ready-made investments as per your instructions. The whole process is really, really simple, and it will have you thinking that you should have done this years ago. Now, I often get asked the question, why did I decide to go with Hargreaves Lansdown for my self-invested personal pension or my SIPP? And the answer is relatively simple. So the first thing is the transfer process is super, super easy. It's so smooth. 6 to 8 weeks, they handle everything for you. It's all done through secure online messaging. It's all done through secure forms, and before you know it, your money's in the SIPP and it's ready to use. Next is that they have a dedicated pension transfer tracking dashboard. So you can actually track the process of your pension transfer, meaning that you're always in the loop when it comes to where your money is and when it's going to be inside your SIPP. The platform fees are relatively competitive in my opinion as well, so you're paying around 0.45% fees. It's really easy to use the Hargreaves Lansdown platform. I love the UI and I love the fact that they have a wide range of different assets for you to invest in. As someone who invests in individual stocks, that is exactly what I need. I don't want to be with a provider who has a limited range of individual stocks for me to invest in, so I miss out on all the aggressive gains that I see. Now, there are also some cons to investing in Hargreaves Lansdown. The platform is a little bit more expensive than some competitors like AJ Bell, which is why I mentioned AJ Bell earlier if you want to look into different SIPP providers so you can compare the two. Now, transferring your pension is super easy. Like I said, I did it for the first time 8 years ago and I haven't looked back since. I've been investing aggressively in my SIPP and I've been able to get great returns. I've put together a list of the most common questions I get when it comes to investing in a SIPP. And now I'm going to answer these one by one. Number one is, do I lose my tax relief? So the short answer is no. When you're investing into a SIPP, you keep your tax relief. It doesn't affect your tax. Number two is my money at risk? And the answer is yes. With any form of investing, there is some level of risk. Now, pension funds have their own level of risks. Investing in individual stocks has its level of risk. ETFs have their level. Everything's got different levels. So before you invest, you need to understand your risk appetite and decide what works for you. Everyone's different. Number three is, can I access my SIPP before the age of 57? And the answer to that is no. You can only have access to your self-invested personal pension from age 57, at which point you can take 25% completely tax-free, and then you can choose to either draw down or take an annuity on the remainder. And number four is, what if my employer contributes to my pension? And as I mentioned before, in that instance, instead of doing a full transfer out, you want to do a partial transfer. That will keep your employer contributions going into your old pension, and you can do unlimited partial transfers out from that pension into a SIPP, meaning that you get the best of both worlds. So now you know the exact steps that you need to take if you want to transfer your pension from an old provider into a SIPP and get full control of what you're actually investing in. 8 years ago, I took the exact steps I showed you today, and I haven't looked back since. I'm no longer going to be retiring with scraps. I'm in full control and setting myself up for a comfortable retirement. SIPPs allow you to invest in world-leading companies, not just tired UK industries that don't grow or evolve with time. So I've transferred my money from a pension into a SIPP, and I've got countless messages from people who have done exactly the same thing. If you found this video valuable, check out this video above where I go through why I invest in individual stocks over ETFs like all the other sheep out there.